Warning, this program typically features strong language, sexual innuendo, politically incorrect commentary, and real stories from the road. Viewer discretion is advised. In the last episode, we finished the build on our Forerunner before crossing the border into Baja. Finally set to begin a deeper journey into Latin America, we're faced with a decision that alters the course of our travels.
Freeway, you'll want to be in the far right lanes. You'll approach the old border crossing. Follow traffic to make a 90-degree turn.
Wait, is it this one? No, this is a USA exit.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man. I'm so freaking pumped, man.
Oh my God.
Look at the Mexican flag. Look.
I can't believe it's happening again.
I know, right? I've been waiting for this since last year.
Okay, so here's a 90-degree turn.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's Mexico.
Yeah!
And I don't think we've quite crossed the border yet. The wall to the left is Mexico. The wall to the right is the U.S.
Oh, man, dude.
So we're in the DMZ.
The demilitarized zone.
So you see the sign Alto.
There's a Mexican sign. Make sure you get that. It said Alto Declaracion. Mexico.
Okay, so this is where we go.
Yes. So what do we do? What do I do?
Straight.
Go straight. Stay in this lane.
Yep.
Keep going this way. Alto Declaracion. Okay.
Yep.
Something. Oh man.
Park in here.
Man. Park right here, huh?
Sure.
All right. We gotta turn cameras off.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Mexico.
See you in Tijuana.
So when the time came to finally cross the border into Baja, it was super exciting, and it was a really smooth border crossing for us.
We're back.
Here we are,
We're back.
back in Tijuana.
We're going to a donkey show. We're going to a donkey show.
And what we did is we first went to a little place kind of just over the border to grab some lunch that we really love. We had been there on our previous trip to Baja. And then we made our way down to K58. And K58 is actually a little kind of side destination on the side of the main highway that goes down through Baja. And it's a family-run campground. It's a great spot to make your first destination. Kind of a little tip if you're heading into Baja and you're a little bit nervous. K58 is a good destination. It's only, like a couple hours south of the border. And the family that runs the place is super nice. It's a safe place. It's gated, and it's just kind of this open plot of land on some cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
Look at that view. Holy cow, man. So stoked to be here. Oh, man. Are you happy or what?
We made it.
Oh, man, this is great. This is great. What you doing?
Getting it all set up for bedtime later. So we got up the next morning and started making our way south. Baja is a super rugged place. It kind of transitions a little bit. The central part of it is super rugged. It's a very barren desert with these massive cactus and all sorts of crazy plants that I find absolutely gorgeous. It's not like any other desert I've ever seen. So really enjoyed the drive down. And a place that we really love to stop at when we're in Baja is a place called Playa Los Cocos.
So we get to Playa Los Cocos. We set up camp. I love it there. I mean, that is such a freaking cool spot. It's so beautiful.
Hi.
I'm gonna go deliver presents.
Hi, Christmas reindeer. Spreading cheer throughout the land.
And you meet all these other people who are traveling there. But we camped next to a really young couple that were there with their baby. And we had a really, really good time. But the best thing that happened was, I think his name is Miguel. Miguel, the tamale truck guy, shows up, and holy crap, this dude had jokes this time. I mean, he played to the camera. Unlike anybody else that I've pointed a camera at, he went off, and some of the stuff that he said had me crying. It was freaking hilarious. The tamale truck guy is here. Remember him? Season 1?
Hola amigo.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien.
Te estoy vendiendo tamales.
¿Tienes tamales?
Sí, tamales calientitos, ricos, sabrosos y baratos. Shower, el agua. Que te bañes, ¿no te bañaste? ¿Te bañaste?
Yo no me baño.
Puta, no, pues el baño es salud. Lo dicen los médicos.
He's here. He's my favorite tamale truck guy in all of Baja. ¿Qué tienes?
¿Qué onda? Ah, es la cámara. ¿Está filmando ahorita?
Sí, ahora.
Me pueden encontrar los narcos, me van a matar. Neta que la pague.
¿Oh, sí?
Tengo problemas con ellos.
Oh, what? De veras, no. This dude just told me he's got problems with the cartel, not to put him on YouTube.
Es una broma nada más.
Oh, man.
Come on. Mira pues. No good.
Yes, it's good.
Se parece un luchador, ¿no te acuerdas? De antes.
Un luchador.
De allá de Estados
Sí, de los Estados Unidos, de
¿Cómo se llama?
Ric Flair.
Este es Ric Flair.
Bandido.
Muy similar, ¿eh?
No,
Oatmeal and
not
cranberry.
Ric Flair.
No, Hulk Hogan.
Hogan.
Ah, Hulk Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sí, cierto. Sí, cierto. A él se parece, ¿verdad? You, míralo. Ya, míralo. Un pedo.
No lies. No lies.
Porque ya está viejo, pues.
But yeah, it was a good time. I sent up the drone at one point and flew it out over the bay, and there was a pod of like 115 dolphins swimming out there. Man, it was incredible. But we had to get to La Paz by December 22nd, so we could only spend 2 nights at Playa Los Cocos before we had to head into La Paz and get to our Airbnb. Oh my god, you guys, this place is freaking awesome! Are you not freaking stoked?
I'm so stoked. When we pulled up, I was like, this is way nice. This is fucking awesome.
This is way nicer than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be real crappy or anything. It's just like, holy cow, this is fantastic. Dude.
This is so awesome, and there's so much room out here for activities that I wasn't planning for.
Yeah, man, this is great. Look. And kitchen, bar to eat at, refrigerator,
And work at.
mirror, shower. We're gonna become best friends. And then here is the living room, the guest bed, and then these stairs go up to where Jessica and I are gonna sleep. Let's just say they're probably gonna need to put some beams to reinforce it.
You're gonna die.
Oh, God, no! Please! It hurts us! Oh, the poison is there!
After arriving in La Paz and being super pumped on our little casita, we set about converting the living room into a functional office by investing in some cheap desks from the local Office Depot. And after getting all that set up, some friends flew down for New Year's.
First to arrive was our friend Marnie, and she was there for a couple of days before Steven and Stephanie arrived. And it was obviously kind of a full house at that point. But once everyone was together, we decided to go and do an excursion to see some whales and to swim with some seals. That was rad.
Holy, that was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. Did you see that thing? Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit.
After ringing in the new year with friends and kind of closing that little chapter of that fun time of the holidays, it was time for us to put our heads down and start working. And a huge goal of ours, really since we hit the road, has been to pay off our student loans. It was actually in our plans when we first hit the road that those first months of work that we had lined up back in early 2014 were supposed to pay off our student loans, but instead we ended up replacing our engine in our Airstream RV at the time. And just kind of from there, it just spiraled out of control and we never got those loans paid off. We were just kind of treading along. And so now that we were getting off of the rig treadmill, we had a new vehicle that we could count on and we knew exactly what our expenses were gonna be. It made it a lot easier for us to sit down and focus and have some goals in mind. And our number one goal was to get our student loans paid off finally. And we did that, which was awesome. Boosh. However, in the middle of those kind of couple of months with our heads down, working crazy hours on multiple projects, I actually got super duper sick. I don't know what it was. You know, after the holidays, it rained a couple times, which doesn't happen a lot in Baja, but when it does, all the bugs come crawling out. And we had a ton of mosquitoes and that became an issue. So I don't know if I got a mosquito-borne illness or if it was something else, but I got really, really sick. And that kind of set off a series of unfortunate events, if you will. I got sick, and then we got broken into right in the middle of that, and that sucked.
Someone broke into our car. What's gone? What's gone? The battery?
And they took everything off the back of the chair.
Oh, fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. Oh, they took our ditch lights too. They took our rigid ditch lights.
They took all these bags.
All of them. They took my drone bag, but the drone's not in here. I'm trying to remember. I had a drone bag here. I had something else here. Oh, I had the tripod, which they left.
Both the tripods, but they cut the fucking thing. This shit pisses me off. But I'm glad they left the passports.
After the break-in, the glow of being in La Paz quickly wore off. we felt insecure and exposed. We noticed that if we left anything of value within arm's reach of our gate, it would be tampered with or stolen. We lost a number of other small items and learned to keep everything away from the gate. And in turn, this made us suspicious of the people in our community. It just wasn't a good feeling. To make matters worse, the rains came and flooded our kitchen, and with the festival of Carnival came thousands of extra tourists and boisterous commotion. Life in the city, with its social pathologies and incessant noise, made us long to escape civilization, and once again, seek the clarity that comes from behind the steering wheel. All right, here's our camp spot for the evening. It's pretty. We're not really doing anything crazy this weekend. We just want to chill. We've been busting our butts working, doing so much work on top of the fact that we were broken into and it just kind of been crappy. Jessica's been very sick. She went to the doctor and got some antibiotics and got some stuff for her eye infections, because both of her eyes are infected. It's kind of just been crappy. So it's nice to get here and sit and chill and just listen to the ocean, watch the sunset, tomorrow morning watch the sunrise. Just take it easy. I don't know what we'll do tomorrow. Maybe we'll stay here, maybe we'll go further down the road, maybe we'll go to the Pacific side of the peninsula. I don't know, but we just want to just chill. So yeah, I'll check in with you guys at some point. Enjoy the astrolapse. We went on a particular camping trip to this really beautiful location, and Jessica and I sat around the 4Runner and had a long conversation. You know, we said, this 4Runner is the best, most reliable, most efficient, most capable vehicle, and most comfortable, like in terms of driving, that we have ever had since being on the road. But would this vehicle work for us when we got to areas of South America, of Central America, that didn't have the perfect weather that Baja has? You know, like, we were pretty much living outside all the time out of this 4Runner. And while a setup like that I think is great for somebody who's doing weekend stuff, and I do know a few overlanders who do the rooftop tent thing, and they've made it work, we had been spoiled by the Syncro. I mean, that Syncro was a fully, you know, self-contained, compact vehicle that had everything that we needed, and it made camping so amazing. And then switching to living out of a rooftop tent and cooking out of the back of the vehicle and being in inclement weather, neither one of us felt like it was something that was going to work out long term. And just as we were coming to that realization, we started seeing this company popping up on Instagram.
And came across this company called Maltec. It kept popping up on his feed. And they would take Land Cruisers and G-Wagons and things like that and actually cut off the back of them and put a living cabin on the back. We thought, if they can do that to that vehicle, that's about the size of the 4Runner, maybe they could do that for us.
So we call up Maltec and we talk to the US representative, and he says, yeah, we can do this for you guys. We could take that 4Runner, we could put the back cabin thing on, and it'll cost this much money, and it'll take about a year to do that.
And while he's on the phone, the US representative of Maltec was like, we actually have this other vehicle here.
A 78 series Land Cruiser troop carrier for sale. And when Jessica and I heard that, we both looked at each other like, what? That's freaking awesome, because we had been looking at Land Cruiser troop carriers the year before when we were kind of in the thick of problems with our Syncro, and thought, man, wouldn't it be rad if we could get into a troop carrier?
You know, we didn't know how we wanted to move forward. We didn't really want to change rigs, but the idea of getting into a 70 series Land Cruiser troop carrier was at the top of our list. I mean, that was just, it wasn't even on our radar at the time because we didn't know of any that were built out and in the US available for purchase.
He told us the price, he told us it was for sale, and we thought, okay, well, let us think about it. It might be an option.
Another factor in this whole situation that was floating around in the ether was the fact that our Syncro was for sale. But while we were considering this 70 series Land Cruiser, if we could sell our Syncro, then we could buy this other vehicle and then hopefully sell our 4Runner. So that, if all of that could work out, it seemed crazy, right? But at this point, we hadn't gotten a single serious interested person on the Syncro.
But we get off the phone with Maltec, and I'm not freaking making this up. Not a week later, my phone rings, and it's
This woman in Boulder, Colorado.
and she says, hi, I'm calling about your Syncro. I'm really interested in test driving it. And I thought, what?
She is seriously interested. She's not just asking questions about it. She had clearly read the listing, which was pretty detailed.
And I was like, sure, yeah, we'd love to let you test drive it. It's located in Fort Collins, blah, blah, blah. And then I say, you know the history of this thing, right? Like, you've seen our YouTube videos. And she says, yeah, I've seen all of your YouTube videos. I love that van. That van would be perfect for our family.
And that was exciting, and it felt almost surreal at the time. Well, she test drives it. A couple days later, she calls back again, and she asks some more specific questions about it.
And makes an offer. And at the end of that week, we are on an airplane to Colorado to sign over Ripley. Which I still get a little bit emotional about it, because I really loved that van, and I really wish that van had worked out. Like, it was something that meant a lot to me. But we get to Colorado, and it's blustery and snowy. It's such a difference from what we were experiencing in Baja, you know, this warm 75-degree weather, and then suddenly we're in Colorado where it's 12 degrees, there's snow falling. And we deliver Ripley to this lady, and she gets sold. And when you know it, not a day later, that troopy is in Colorado. And we call the owner up of the troopy, the guy who represents Maltec in the US, and we ask if we can go and test drive the troop carrier in Salida, Colorado. We rent a car, We drive to Salida, we stay at a hotel, and the next day, he shows up with the troop carrier, and we fell in love with that truck. With Ripley sold and the test drive on the Troopy done, we worked out a deal with the seller before heading back to Baja to pick up all our stuff. Now, northbound to Colorado once more, we took delivery of our new Land Cruiser and began planning the next phase of our adventures. I never would have thought that so much of our life would revolve around a thumping steel and cast iron heart, brought to life with the flick of a wrist and then heading straight for the edges of our world. And I never thought that the journey to get there would see us buying, building, and selling so many rigs. I sometimes wish we would have gotten it right the first time. All these different vehicles wasn't the plan. But what's that thing people say about best laid plans? The past is prologue. The road you take gets you from where you once were to where you are now. In the 4 years since we'd set off, we learned more about ourselves than at any other point in our lives. Lessons out here tend to stick. With our hands on the wheel and the windows down, the road twists and turns before giving way to long straights that disappear into another sunset. It's those desolate roads where the only sounds are a whirring motor and humming all-terrains that I begin to reflect. And there, in the stillness of 60 miles an hour, I recall that nothing worth having comes easy.
Put your hands on the wheel. Let the golden age begin. Let the window down. Feel the moonlight on your skin. Let the desert cool your aching head. Let the weight of this world drift away instead.
For us, travel started as a way to see our little slice of the world, but instead, it opened us up to the expanse of our own inner universe. Winding roads have delivered us way more than epic views. Through 4 and now 5 different windshields, the world painted across the tempered glass taught us that no matter the rig, just beyond that next unknown horizon is another little piece of us, waiting to be discovered.
These days I barely get by. I don't even try. It's a treacherous road with a desolate view. There are distant lights just to feel you're okay. These days I barely get.
Now, moving forward, with the steering wheel bearing the name of a legend, and overlanding the world at our fingertips, adventure was once again afoot. All we had to do was keep moving forward, to continue living for hard-earned lessons, and to live free and drive hard.
Let the desert wind cool your aching head. Let the weight of this world drift away instead.